Welcome back to YouTube's exclusive #1 cryptocurrency and blockchain technology and breaking news and coin updates. Vincenzo's Gold Crypto Investing bell notification, comment down below, subscribe and share to continue to get updated on this ever-evolving, ever-changing market that is infiltrated by the criminal gangsters that have manipulated and orchestrated and executed flawlessly to fleece, heist, and shiest the retail trader and investor. And I'm here to help you navigate these choppy waters. Lawsuits are getting settled or pushed aside, showing me to have not done anything defamatory to anybody. We were speaking truth in our own personal opinions. We have the Bitcoin halving coming up, and this is very important and very educational and powerful video coming up. You can see in the background the prior halvings, the pump, then the dump, then the long consolidation, leading into the halvening, and then as the halvening gets closer, the price starts to rise down to 3.125 BTCs per block in late April-ish, because it's a moving date based on the blocks getting solved to make it to the next halvening. Less rewards per block that's solved. It becomes more expensive to mine the Bitcoin. And you can see down here, which when it becomes more expensive to mine the Bitcoin, it becomes more competitive to mine the Bitcoin. And when it becomes more competitive and it costs more, there's less margin for error. Thus, a lot of people go out of business that were mining, have major mining operations and even small mining operations from miners, big corporation miners. And then you have retail traders, and or you would have your smaller retail, right, quote unquote, retail miners that were trying to make extra money on the side, single fathers, single mothers, married family, trying to get some extra cash. Bitcoin Michigan, yes, national championship, the Fighting Jim Harbaughs, but they're not the Fighting Jim Harbaughs anymore, because in classic Michigan way, they win the natty and then everybody leaves. But it was a great season. It was worth everybody leaving and the whole program turning to shit now, more than likely, just like the miners are going to have to go through their own turmoil like Michigan is, with their coaches leaving, the players all going pro. You're going to have to be smart. You're going to have to be fiscally responsible, but there's going to be a lot of minor casualty. But you can see Argentina is only 9K to mine a Bitcoin. Lebanon 0.26K. That's fucking cheap. That's where I'd be going. Lebanon seems to be very Bitcoin friendly and seems to be very cheap there. Iran's very cheap, probably because those aren't very nice places to go. But it's going to cause a lot of mining havoc. The 2024 halving will transform the mining landscape into a scene reminiscent of the Hunger Games, where only the strongest miners armed with the most efficient technology, like we just talked about, and affordable energy, which is why we showed you that and why I think this is a good article down here. You have to be smart, fiscally responsible, tech savvy, and where only these equipped with savvy, cost-effective tactics will emerge. Or I thought, and it became fact and truth, that because we're built on truth, that we were going to be in a bear market a couple of years, and it was going to be a painful bear market, and there would be a lot of casualties and a lot of companies that wouldn't come back, like Celsius, like BlockFi, like BConnect, like Three Arrows Capital, like FTX's of the world, and the rest of them, that people lost all their money, billions and billions of dollars, mostly retail traders, that when they lost what was in there, that was catastrophic for them, right? And that is one of the travesties about bear markets. Even though a coin you hold might come back, a lot of people's money can never come back because it was lost in bankruptcies, failing companies, or just outright scams. But you can see in the XRP, since we were in this big dump, which I have been collecting XRP. I don't have that many. I only have like 1,000 XRP. I'm going to tell you my holdings. You guys have been asking me what I've been buying. If I do buy, I've been slowly buying of $6.66 a day in XLM for about 9 months, maybe a little bit longer. So it's bought it at higher prices than it's at now, lower prices, but it's mostly been around where it's at now. And then I have Algo that I've made a couple of purchases, and I'll show you those holdings. But since we had this great dump, we've been in this rising channel, and just basic technical analysis, we came down off this big flush, the big dump, the big capitulation that temporarily has halted the bear market. Then we got up into this rising channel. Then we know last July we had the news. We had Judge Torres, and we had the manipulation and orchestrated beautifully to have that magnificent pump that went across the board, but primarily XRP and XLM were the two massive pumps that day. XLM, I believe, got up to about 110%. XRP at least nipped about 100% gain in one day. And then we told you to not FOMO, to not freak out, to not buy in off this manipulation because the price was going to come back down and there would at least be a much, much, much better buying opportunity than up there. And at the very least, if you bought down here during that long consolidation, that was already a better buying opportunity. And here it's about the same price, much better buying opportunity than that. But what I would look at now is this is a long drawn out pattern, and this long drawn out pattern might just be a bear market continuation pattern where you flush down, you come up into this rising channel. Rising channels are continuation patterns, and in this case it was an uptrend, so it's a bullish continuation pattern. But in basic technical analysis, a rising channel is a reversal pattern. So in this case, it would be a bearish reversal pattern at the end of it where it comes back down, and the technical target is the bottom of the pattern, which would be about this 37 cents that we were on and struggling with for the better part of 2023 until we finally had a pump from, I believe, the end of 22 into the mid part of 2023 until the Judge Torres bounce, right? And that would be a big target if we fail this uptrending support. You can see we've hit it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. Very easy technical analysis, standard stuff, basic stuff, textbook stuff. If it breaks this at any point, your first target down here of a good buying opportunity would be 37 cents. The next uptrend you can see would take you up here to this critical blue trading box that we were watching for quite some time, for a better part of a couple of years here, or most of last year. If we can get above that, you could run all the way up here to your big overhead resistance, which would be the top part of this blue trading zone, where it just so happens to meet with overhead descending resistance. And then it meets up with the top part of this green arrow, which is the rising channel up here. So we have 3 confluent confirming signals from different areas, and they're all coming up here. So a big area of upper resistance would be up here at the 68, 69 cents, because you have 3 different areas of technical analysis and 3 different signals all converging and conglomerating on one area. You got your rising channel, upper resistance, which is this green arrow up here, just as the lower part of this rising channel is the green arrow down here, right? Then you have the top of this blue trading zone, which is a heavily traded area that acts as support. When you're coming from above it, it'll act as wanting to bounce. But when you're coming from below it, it acts as resistance, 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 right? Resistance all in here. And then we have an overhead fib circle coming down from a long time ago. So this is a major area of overhead resistance at that 69 cents. And you can see you hit it a bunch of times here after the Torres pump, could never hold that critical area, right? So that's an area we're watching out for XRP. If you can break above that, then we can talk about areas of over $1, but you would have to break above this and have to get some buyers and momentum to kind of invalidate what is a bullish continuation pattern, but a bearish reversal pattern, at least at 37 cents at the end of this. Usually the odds would signal that, but that doesn't mean it has to happen. It just means the odds favor, no matter what it does here for however long it's going to do it, the odds favor it comes back to 37 cents, at least briefly. Doesn't mean it has to go below it, but it should at least come back down there, right? And I do own some of that, but here's where I have my biggest holding, at least coin collecting wise. I refer to it as coin collecting. If that offends you, come on, get a sense of humor, because essentially what are we doing? Just like even when you own a stock, but it's a stock, you could say, well, they sell shoes. You're holding these shares and hoping one day you can sell your shares or your collection of shares to somebody else at a much higher price. But this is what I have the biggest holding of any crypto. I have 10,200 and something coins right now at about, I think, 12 cents exactly. Like I said, I buy $6.66 a day. And here's where we had the last bull market, right, in 2021 during the post-COVID pump and orgasmic of everything. And the channel was made back in here. And we told you this is a rising channel here, bullish continuation pattern, bearish reversal pattern at the top. And the technical target was all the way down into this area where the pattern started. You can see we had our first support down here and then a lot of resistance. So the technical target was down into here. We touched down at about 6.5 cents, right? Then we had that Judge Torres pump, And now we're trying to form this bottom here, sort of like a reverse head and shoulders, but just sort of like a bottoming pattern after we traded out of a falling channel or a falling wedge, which is a continuation pattern, in this case, a bearish continuation pattern, but a reversal pattern at the bottom of it, which would be, in this case, a bullish reversal pattern in the macro or the longer term time frame. And you can see we broke out of that and notice how the manipulation timed up nicely. We broke out of this pattern, confirmed it on the bounce down here. You can see if we zoom in a little bit closer, you can see what I'm talking about with the confirmation here in the weekly. We broke out of it, came back down, touched it, a top side now, held it as support. You can see right here where we held it on the wick, quickly reversed after touching it, and then started to trade out of it. And then we had the manipulation with the judge, the information, and the news all orchestrated and executed flawlessly to fleece, heist, and shiest the day traders and the quick money earners, which is the average the retail trader. They just try to jump in on the FOMO, pumps up, they get rolled over, long consolidation, they sell out here, they sell out here, price pumps, they buy back way up there. But what we're trying to do here now is you want to hold, obviously this is your big bullish zone. As long as you hold this, you're bullish. You break this, you're extremely bearish. And then to get ultimately bullish, you need to break past this 13.5 cents and then blow past this 16 cents, this purple dotted line that's been major upper resistance ever since it was major support. $66 every day. I had to put it on pause for one day because I misbalanced the budget until tomorrow, but you can see 10,242 coins. We're down 2.42%. This is 43% of my portfolio, right? Because I do buy Rivian too. I buy it on Charles Schwab, and then I buy Rivian on here. I buy $10 of Rivian a day on here. And you can see I have Rivian at $18 on this one at 100 shares, and it's down 200 bucks. It's been up 300 bucks because it was just at, and this is why my average price got higher, because we had all of this from about December 7th through about all the way through January 11th. So we had like not 8 weeks of it being $19, $20, $21, $22, and I was buying $10 a day. So every 2 days I was buying a share. So it brought my price up from, I think it was at like 16.25 to 18.08, but now it's coming back down because they're buying them. I'm buying about a share and a half every day, every 2 days, that many of them. You can see on Coinbase, if I go to my assets, I have how many algo? 5,191 algo. Currently, we're actually up on this position 51% because we bought it a long time ago. We bought it at like 10 cents ish, 10.5 cents or something. And then I got 2,200 Hendra on here. I just started buying that a little while ago. And then I got 412 XRP on here. And then I got like 500 XRP on a different website. But those are my holdings. That's what's happening. Peace and love to my beautiful audience.